I want to go into how to launch a token from an entrepreneurial perspective. So what are the steps that you need to do? What should you take a look at? What's important? So let's step right in. We see that the token launch itself is a pretty intense endeavor. So you guys will need to get the community excited. You need to run like a full worldwide PR campaign. You have a lot of regulatory things to tackle, as well as get the token and the network live. So we took a look and identified those components of a token launch. Just listing them is something that just takes up a lot of time. So getting that started is really, really intense, and we saw that. And what we focus on, we said we are not going to do like the full service from all the way from the design part to the PR and marketing roadshow. What we are focusing on is providing an interface for contributors to be able to contribute into the token launch, as well as facilitate a compliant token launch, because what we see that it's a really big challenge, because for the first time we see true international capital markets arising. So you're not focusing on raising funds for the network just on a pretty homogeneous jurisdiction, but actually worldwide. What we also saw that the space lacks two things, which is usability and compliance, and this is exactly what we want to solve. So if we take a look at the token lifecycle, when you launch your network, you have to identify your contributors. You will have to launch the token. That's something that we take care of. Afterwards, the token will be listed on an exchange and traded or held. So what do? We actually take a look at the international jurisdictions and see where do you want to issue your token. For example, you could issue your token in Singapore. So this is the issuing jurisdiction. Then you also want to take a look at where do you want to, which jurisdiction do you want to target. So if you want to translate your white paper into Russian, you might want to know a little bit about Russian regulations to be able to actually offer that in Russia. So that is what we heavily invest in. We also see that you're signing up at these ICOs again and again, and mostly it's a pretty horrible process. So it's mostly not even compliant, but also not really working. And we see that you're in this process losing people that would actually like to contribute, but that drop out, that don't hear back from the service provider, that are just discouraged. So we are focusing on actually making this process as smooth as possible. This is the most important part that we see in the market. So when we speak with people that want to launch their token, we ask them, hey, what's your plan? And they say, yeah, we do have a KYC provider. But then we ask, and what the KYC provider usually only provides is that they render the service of identifying the document or the person in the document. But there are two things that they don't do, which is pretty important, which is taking a look if this person is allowed to invest. So if this person is on some terrorist watch list, then you probably not want to, you should not let this person invest into your ICO. Actually, most providers don't check that. As well as they don't check if there are consumer protection laws that make it really good to not have this person invest into your ICO, because they could go to the officials and ask for the money back, because they do have this right. We actually take up liability that we take care of that. We also do more advanced services like taking a look at if people are accredited investors, if they are to process institutionals with the beneficial owner process, and something that's quite important to take a look at GDPR, which is the European Data Protection regulation, because here's one thing that shifted in Europe. They did not see this instrument of people getting together to sue someone. And for the first time, this is coming into place, is being introduced to Europe. So that's something that in the US, the consumer protection is pretty powerful because this legal action is something that you guys know for quite a long time. It's new to Europe, we take care of that. So this is the full process that we provide. I'm not going to go into the details. One thing that's pretty important that, for example, Swiss projects learned pretty the hard way is that getting a bank to convert that into fiat, because you will have operational expenses, is something that's pretty tied into the KYC process, because they actually have to make sure that the funds that you raised, come from people that are actually eligible to invest, that are not on any list. So some Swiss project got their bank accounts pulled, so they did not know how to finance the ongoing operations. This is the team. If you want to reach out, happy to. And yeah, if you guys have any questions, feel free.